Hello everyone, welcome into yet another live stream. Hi there, and today we'll be like, you know, the working. Yesterday I have miscalculated because I started the stream and, well, it turns out it was a Friday when I thought it was a Thursday, and as such, I fucked up. But today we are back. We're back and ready to do the thing that we always do. So, where did we finish off last time? I haven't done any animating since yesterday because, well, I've been away, but where have we finished off? Well, this, I remember I rendered just before going out, so this, and then... Wait, that's it? Oh yeah, right, we had this text right here.
Hi, by the way.
Was I doing this, and quite different things. So this time the show, and let's come look at this one now. We'll break down the command. We'll press everything. Wait, did we do the maths correctly this time? There was supposed to be a space in between those zeros. There is... Yeah, whatever, just render from 610. But first, let's see if we did the math correctly. And then I'll check that. 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 2 3 4 5 1 1 0 1 0 1, which means we're gonna have like this. I did the maths correctly, haven't I? No, maths completely unwatchable. I'm right now literally doing. Come on. 1, this 0 hops in right here, becoming a 1. So this is becoming a 0. This is also a 0. It's also a 0. This is a 1. This is a 1. 1 2 3 4 5. Uh-oh. 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 1 1 1. Haha. Oh no, it's not supposed to be 1 1 1. This and this, that's correct so far. Ivan, for goodness sake, mute your Discord.
Sorry.
1 2 3 4 5, that's correct. Have I done the maths incorrectly again? Oh yeah, with this one, this should be 36 times 30, 40, 43. 36 times 43, which will be 1,548. And in this case, this is, in fact, 4 plus 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, plus 1,024, and let's see if that will be equal to this. It seems like it. That's good. Plus 512 plus 8 plus 4, we get neat. Perfect. Our FNAF multiplier works. There we go. Perfection. Coding JavaScript using only bitwise logic. That doesn't seem too extreme. Bitwise isn't quite commonly used for logic. For mathematics, you'd use maths, but I mean, for logic, it's what it's made for. Speaking of, Actually, never mind, not speaking of, we're not gonna do any programming today. We first need to finish this video. Fine, like this, multiply by number like this, then do the translate to us taking the second number, shifting it to your numbers. Okay, then we're gonna have a flip around, burn could be described by this equation. This equation. Is the second. Make it, you have an option of using a binary default calculator. You don't have to muff it out. Is that the real thing? Really? That sounds convenient. What is programmer? Oh! That's convenient. It's quite convenient indeed. Well, would you look at that? Hi to someone. Make it count the temporal recursions happen to be exactly. Oh, my glass should come in today, by the way. I think so, at the least. Or it might be on Monday.
Your glass.
I've ordered glass. Not synthetic glass. Not real glass, not the crushy type, the normal type. Why? Mind your own business. Also, my bearings came. I am having fun. I'm definitely not doing retail therapy. This is all important, crucial, tax deductible investment for videos. Alright, this and this and this. Now what? Yeah, right here we wanna rephrase this a bit to explain exactly how this kind of equation works, which means b is the second. Second, and this is the shift operation. So what we're effectively doing here is would you rather prefer calling members of the maker community Makitians or Makitians? My loyal worshippers is fine, honestly. Don't think there's a need to overdo it. Or interns. I've been calling everyone interns for a really long time. Was I doing it right? Shift is we're taking our first number, shifting it bits to the left, then ending it with that specific digit of our second number. And then we repeat for all of them. Numbers ended with a 0 disappear. And then we just sum them together. Now, all that's left is for us to implement this. Yeah. Okay. Neat. Like a paid vacation. No. You're not even getting paid normally. All right. Let's temper our expectations.
They didn't ask for normal pay. They asked for paid vacation. Not the same.
Paid leave. You're not even getting paid to stay. We as a gathering are called internet. I need maternity leave. No, you're not leaving. Talk to with HR. HR in this case means Hell's Regent. It's a position in our company. That's why I need to get paid to leave. That's true. That's the only way you leave this company, if someone pays you, and no one ever will. And that's the truth.
That didn't work.
I don't have my camera set up, despite the fact that I bought the cable for it. However, what we could do today is we could plan the circuit a bit. Oh my, I hate myself in your new time, and that's awful.
Relatable.
Though you hear yourself in my headphones.
Not now, but it has happened before, and yeah, it's pain.
I can drink it already. The deepest part of Dante's Inferno. The deepest, yeah, the last circle, the last most inner circle of the most inner circles is just the Make It company. No one leaves. No one ever leaves. You know what? Yeah, let's make a circuit. Why not? Why not? Why not? Well, actually, there's one part. No, I'll leave it for another stream. I take it back. I keep getting distracted because I've started the work on the doodad, and so I keep getting distracted working on the doodad. He has made it so Tregmas, no one else makes it. Exactly, only I can make it. Anyone else who makes it is infringing on my trademark, and as such, they should be executed. Learn how UTF-8 works. You mean ASCII? Wasn't UTF-8 just ASCII? Because I'm not memorizing all the special characters. Hold on, wasn't UTF-8 just ASCII, or am I really? Because I remember they wanted to keep it as a standard. First 128 characters of Unicode, which correspond to one-to-one with ASCII. Yeah, this is ASCII. Exactly, yeah, because it was backwards compatibility. I remember that. Yeah, characters. Most of the designed for an extended ASCII can read and write UTF, and this results pure into distribution. Same binary value, ASCII file. Wait, what? Keep reading. How far should I read?
What?
No, UTF-8. UTF-1, I mean. UTF-1. Second paragraph on top of it supports valid Unicode points to variable coding 1 to 4. Of 1 to 4 1 byte code units. This one? It is not ASCII. Wait, does the 8 in UTF-8 stand for 8 bits or bytes? Variable with encoding. Bits. Then I'm sorry, but like encoded characters of representation. So what, UTF-8, you can combine multiple UTF-8 for a single character? Is that what it means? In that case, I don't... Why is it called UTF-8 then? If you store a single character in more than 8 bits, that's not really 8-bit storage, is it? 8-bit. 8-bit my ass. That's not 8-bit. Hydra claim. That's not 8-bit false advertising.
Hi.
Oh, damn it, I did the wrong colors. I now realized. So this... Wait, no. You disappear first. Because first we need you to move down. Let me just also, like, lower the samples. We ain't made of money. Oh yeah, right, I remember. Never mind. You're good because we don't need your keyframes. Because we have this. Haha. Been there already. But that is not 8-bit. I am getting irrationally angry at this. Seven, 8, 9 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds ago. Some of the sick. No, I can't move on past that. That is upsetting me to a very core. ASCII is just better. Back in the day, we had 256 characters of extended ASCII, okay? And now these liberals keep inventing new characters, right? Just these. Back in my day, we only had 256 characters, and some of them were like special characters that didn't even make sense and no one ever used. Like character number 11. What is character number 11, huh? Anyone knows what character number... No one knows, because no one cares. No one cares about character number 11. What is character number 11? Vertical tab. Vertical tab. Who cares about character number 11? Acknowledge. Bell? Oh, yeah, there was a Bell character. I forgot about that. That's actually pretty funny. Hold on. Let's see if this is still supported. Bell. Does it still work?
What's a vertical tab?
It's a character. My goodness, my coffee cup is in the way and I keep pressing the wrong keys. Does the bell still work? No wait, peasant C. Right. I would like you to print 7. Go on and do that for me. Literally 1984. You cannot print Bell anymore. You cannot do sounds via text like a normal person. Irrationally angry applies the existence of anger that is composite of a fraction of natural and whole angers. Fuck off. Well, ASCII character is 234, huh? 34. Omega. Didn't I use this one in the video specifically? I think. Who put the cap on me? we live in 1984 kind of world in which you cannot even print a sound as text. And I think that's why we failed as a society. We used to be able... End of trance! Holy shit! What a character! That's... Whoa! Damn! There is an end of trance character. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I'm glad there's also
I
shift
understand.
in, shift out.
Oh, why'd you say that?
Back in the good old days, we had an end of trance character. When the estrogen prescription runs out, it really is. Negative acknowledge. I'm glad that there's both acknowledge and negative acknowledge. Man, ASCII was just quite something. I cannot stress enough how, hold on, ASCII bell. I remember I used to have fun with this. I don't remember where though, and on what. Trigger terminals can program languages with this escape sequence A. Wait, no, can you still do it? Did I just do it incorrectly? A? Please work. That would be so funny. $1984. And to ring a small electromechanical bell on tickets and other teleprinters. Can you imagine? We had a character, alright? A character that was specifically there to ring a tiny bell. And I think it is hilarious, alright? Those are the good old days.
I want that back.
Bell. They challenge you to make a computer on those computers using any bitwise logic. What do you mean make a computer on a computer? Computers are kind of a physical thing. Hard to implement. I mean, I can download your RAM if you want on Linux. Keyboards should have bells again. Thank you! Make keyboards have bells again. I agree. It's not quite as catchy, but we can get there. Alright, piss off. What are we doing? Yes, we're doing this. Early computers had their shitty little beeps. I agree with you, we need buzzers. We need buzzers. And listen, we all know that future technology is just flashing lights and beeps and boops. We all know that. We're all aware. Listen, as someone who has researched a lot of science myself, I can tell you there's nothing more futuristic than beeps, boops, and flashing lights. And I think we should. To be fair, flashing lights we kind of have. Computers have so many RGB lights in them nowadays. That makes sense. But we don't have enough beeps and boops. Flashing lights, electroluminescence. Perovskites can do that. Try not to distract, make it challenge. I am... Next question. Perspective input, single change a bit. Wait, where am I? Multiplier. There we go. So... So this, and actually now what we want is we want all of these to piss off. Do you think you can beat Flame in a fight if both you and him can use any science knowledge to your advantage? No. No. Flame would... the way a fight with me and Flame would go on is that you need to attack your enemy by surprise. So like, I totally imagine it this way. Flame would basically pull out just kind of some random fluorescent or phosphorescent glowing rock, either shine UV on it or it would be already shining to distract me. And then once I get distracted, he himself would be distracted by the same exact glowing rock. That's how the fight would go. Hi, the Italian mapper. Aggressive copies of a movie on hypnosis. By the way, I don't want to say that I'm like incredibly good at chemistry, but I can spell phosphorescence correctly on the first try. So you know, I'm just saying. Now what we want is we want these to piss off. This and this and this and this and this and this and that and this and this and this and this. All of them we want to piss off. And then these, we'd like to stay. Like so. Perfection-ish. If only there was an easier way for me to... Look how cool this glow did. Oh, it goes. Being the piss of the angry, the energy of angry Gordon Ramsay. Piss off now. I can't do the Gordon Ramsay voice, of course, but you know, I have the spirit. I have it in me. The Gordon Ramsay piss spirit. I honestly sometimes I can't tell if I'm maybe not Australian. How would I know? I have that emu in me. Geez, how clever it was of me to have all of them be with different separate geometry nodes to give them the attributes, so that now I have to go through every single shucks. The pretty glowing blue that we found the demolished power plant building. I am losing my mind. Slowly but surely. She was walking toward me. Alright, this and that. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I know, this is thrilling content. This must be just truly. Honestly, I can barely contain my excitement. Okay, there we go. Now that we do this, we do that, and there we go. I demand that make it makes it. I'm always making it, actually. Exciting containment breach. No, they're escaping. Okay, this is rendering, which is nice and sweet and neat and nice and fantastic and lovely and so on and so forth, etc, etc. Now we left. If that number is 1, we add 0, then we don't. And then we'll need this, which will be a completely separate scene. I wanna increase your ad revenue. Don't. Just don't. It's not worth it. I honestly lose money per stream due to electricity costs. Make it. This is what we're yapping about. If you want to take a very short distraction. Oh, as if it's even a question. Wow, that actually looks fun. Wow, what a fun, what a fun image to be greeted with. A radioactive conditions, yeah. Like, as Brazil, after an skilled rifle episodes was stolen from an abandoned hospital site in the city. Handled by many people. Wait, what? I shouldn't be laughing. 4 people died. I was, wait, what? What did they... Why? Just why? That's my main question. Gotizium doesn't start sharing around with friends and family because it was pretty. Genius, honestly. First of all, if you steal some dust out of any... Oh wait, what was it? Radiotherapy source. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you steal glowing dust, or like any kind of dust from a lab, first thing you should do is definitely spread it around. You know, sharing is caring. They didn't know what it was. I'm sorry. Okay, 2 things there. Both of them didn't know there was in poor education. First of all, someone stole it from a lab. That person should have known they stole it from a lab. Second of all, that isn't even a matter of poor education. I would say that most people I know with really good education wouldn't be able to identify cesium-137 just by eyeballing it. I would... Like, I'm not blaming all the other people that were spreading around. The first person. Why? Just my question. Why? Theft of the source. Just why? The guard tasked with protecting the site did not show up for walk. This material is something about the... They thought they might get some scrap value for the unit. The same evening. That seems like a note you would find in like a horror movie. Not a horror movie, a horror game. A note you would find. Me and Robbie 3 days ago found this really cool looking glowing rock. I think I should sell it for some scrap. And then another note like 2 days later. Robbie hasn't been acting like himself recently. Then this went the equipment. The same evening, they both began to vomit due to radiation sickness. A foodborne illness. Roberto, however, continued his efforts to dismantle the equipment. Why? Why would you continue? But here, have some of the dust. No, that's the maddening bit is that he continued on. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I read that correctly. So, basically, Roberto, right, took it to Roberto's home. They began dismantling it, and they started vomiting. He underwent partial amputation, and that was diagnosed as a foodborne illness, because you know how it is with the foodborne illnesses. Honestly, the pattern recognition of you start dismantling something and you need to, the same day, undergo a partial amputation. Pattern recognition. I am laughing at like radiation sickness victims. That's not nice, is it? But I am baffled and curious. Roberto, what the fuck? You went back for seconds? Deep blue light comes from a tiny opening created. It was perhaps a type of gunpowder. I'm sorry. There are so many layers here at work. First of all, first thought was gunpowder. That's already great. Second of all, first instinct was to light it. That's also great. Third of all, to all of you watching, if you find yourself stealing some kind of specialized lab equipment and you open it up and just pry away a blue glowing rock, then honestly quite impressive for you to get that far without dying. That's already impressive. But second of all, don't light it on fire as a first instinct. It's not... You see, when something is glowing, I am... Okay, carrying on. Exact mechanism by which flyers generally was not known at the time. Ionized air glow, fluorescence, or triangle radiation. I mean, hey, maybe it was fluorescence. Maybe it was just like... It's fine. Yeah, it's just fluorescent, you know how it is. Sometimes scientists just put glowing powders inside of specialized lab equipment, just so that people who then try to sell it for scrap can have a little nice surprise. It's like a Kinder Egg, you know? Assault the item through a nearby scrapyard. Notice the blue color from the pictured capsule were valuable or supernatural. This is so dumb. So this is basically like a chain of people where each one just saw a blue glowing powder and then took it into their own home thinking it was magical or valuable. Or both. Invited friends and family to view the strange glowing powder. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. This crap for your friends. Freed several rice-sized grains of gold material from the capsule using a screwdriver. Share some of them with various friends and family members. The same day, began to fall ill. Ah, no. That's why this was took it to his house, short distance away. He spread some of it on the concrete floor. Oh no! 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 Why? Why? Just don't steal specialized lab equipment to sell it for parts. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. There's a reason why all of those nerds in labs just keep wearing their silly little goggles and like... Yeah, I think it's just goggles, right? I think that's all the safety in lab. Yeah, I think it was just goggles, actually. Maybe ties, certain colored ties, but I don't know. I'm not a nerd. His defense, it was demolished hospital. Why would that be in his defense? What do you mean? What? Pardon me, I don't think it's in... Listen. It was a glowing powder. Like... it doesn't get more like stereotypical dangerous substance than a glowing powder. Nothing in nature fucking glows. Nothing. That's a bit better than sneaking into an actual lab. Yeah, but it was a powder and his friend got his fingers amputated the same day.
Also, like, aren't hospitals full of stuff that are bad for you? Like, even if you don't count the
Magic
glowing...
like, cocaine! Might I add the curiosity the best trainer person, and I have a total of 0 empathy points. Oh no, I have empathy for everyone. Well, I know, I have empathy for all of them, it's really unfortunate. But I do have to say that it's the first 2 people that fucked up. Everyone later on who was just spreading, I get it. Like, if a friend of mine like, gave me just a glowing powder, I would accept it. Lord knows, because the reason why I feel so confident saying it is because it is quite likely that in the future that might happen with Flame. Like, yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen at some point. Flame is gonna give me some glowing powder, I'm gonna take it without questioning. But the first 2 people who fucking... started dismantling radiology equipment and found a glowing powder inside, with the first thought being, we're rich, we're rich. I'm just, let's add the video, right? That's what I'm working on. Okay. I cannot get over the fact that his friend. I have fluoride crystals in my room that, surprisingly enough, is fluorescent. I cannot get over the fact that his friend had his fingers amputated the same day, and he still kept going. What is the next video about? Computer science, who cares? Some computer science bullshit, I don't know. How would I know? I don't honestly pay attention to what I do. I most of the time just blackout drunk and then do stuff. Okay, so this will be it, and then what we'll need is the next one. This time with this deleted, this deleted, this deleted, and then delete all of these. There we go. Has Cat Girl Make It been done before? Actually, no. Curious enough, yeah, you finally got one. We have had a girl make it, we have had a cat boy make it, we haven't had a cat girl yet.
Well, it's time.
I agree, it's time. It's honestly been time for a while. About time that someone fixes this great injustice. So what we need right here is the equation we will use to create our FNAF multiplier. Hello, my name is Multiplier, and today I'll be playing FNAF, which is the sum I equals 0 with n, and then a, and then the I, and then the and then the b of I. This is the equation. At least I'm pretty certain. I know, I've built a multiplier, it works based on this equation, so close enough. I did the sum couple. Yep, I almost mistake this for something. I just. It feels right for a sum to be capital S. Isn't this capital Sigma? I'm yelling at the cloud again. There's absolutely, my reasoning is absolutely pointless, but I just have this need to yell at the cloud every now and then. It feels good, you know. Okay, we're gonna have this. This will be our equation. I tried to hear about the anatomic thing. I mean, it was still confusing. I have seen it. I'm so sorry. Yesterday I was just busy. I messaged you at the only time the day I had. But I do have still some questions. It's not that I don't understand how it works, because I know that. I've seen the equations. It's just more that I don't understand the intuition for it. I know that the entropy always wins, but I don't understand the intuition. We're basically... Okay, so here's basically my question. You have... Let me think about how to draw it out for me to make sense. So this is what confuses me. Basically, in a reaction like this, you're going... Entropy isn't just heat, it's also disorder in general. A gas is more disordered than a liquid. I mean, I know, but once you remove the abstraction of it, for individual molecules. So basically, if you have some kind of A plus B that turn into AB, incredibly, it just, it's the Adride and bionium, the favorite two chemicals, and then when you react them together with heat, because that's the thing I'm most confused about. Can you have an endothermic reaction wait, was it endothermic, exothermic? Endothermic, I'm good. Endothermic reaction with just heat. You get this energy from heat, but what confuses me is that when you provide enough heat to these molecules, when they reach this peak, why would they on average go more this way? That's what confuses me. And I imagine the reason why I'm confused is because I'm completely misunderstanding the way the reaction happens. But well, that's what I'm asking, because I don't know how it's supposed to happen. Why a chemistry lesson? Or a video, of course.
Oh my god, finally new chemistry, yes.
It's not a chemistry video.
Aw.
Why would I? Oh, hi, the flame.
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so the thing you've drawn
Yes.
is you are correct that like why would it go that way? You need to remember that things will always go both ways. But
Mhm.
obviously if it goes to the right side
That's why I said on
and
average.
it's still hot, then it can just go back over the thing and go back down to the left. So there's like a third factor here, which is that you have some kind of driving force that's pushing it to the right and not letting it go back. And so that could be something like if your AB is a gas and you're heating up a liquid, then the gas
It
is just going to
evaporates.
escape and you can't undo the gas because it's gone.
Oh, so basically in every single endothermic reaction, you need AB to escape from the reaction in some way. Like
I
either
don't
physically,
think so.
no, but I mean like either physically or like metaphorically escape. So like be unavailable.
I don't know for sure, but that's just an example that pops into my head. I am kind of rusty on this because it's all thermodynamics, but there is always some kind of driving force, and things don't just work in terms of energy. We always talk about energy, but to this
I
kind of
remember
thing,
that from
the entropy is what matters a lot as well.
I remember that from the electrolysis example. In the electrolysis, it made sense to me later on for the finer molecules to have more energy because you remove them. They cannot go back.
Yeah.
So with heat, like from liquid to gas, that makes sense because you're removing gas, and so like once something goes from AB to from A plus B to AB, then it just goes away, and then all of a sudden it cannot get the energy required to cross this. Like, that would make sense for.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the example of melting ice, where you put energy in and it ends up in a state where it has more internal energy, but it prefers that state over what was before. And I think the reason it prefers it isn't because it's escaped, but just because it has higher entropy. I think that's the point. So it's like even if the energy is higher, if the entropy increase is even bigger than that, then it will favor that state.
I mean, I remember that because you have explained to me in the past. The only thing I'm struggling with is like to understand it from the perspective of like a single molecule. Because when you have multiple molecules, it makes sense to say like, entropy increases even more, the universe cares more about entropy. But like when you have a single molecule, that's what I'm struggling to grasp. Like how for a single molecule, it can get enough energy to get up here, and then like on average, it can still go more to AB.
Well, that's the thing though. If we're talking about states of matter, you don't have states with a single molecule, really. Because it's like a state is just how the molecules are arranged.
Wait, so is there maybe an endothermic reaction that isn't dealing with states of matter, only if it's actually reacting?
Oh yeah, there are loads, but like I can't think of any off the top of my head. So the water example is.
Well, I mean,
is an
fortunately, we live in a society. Endothermic reactions example. We live in a society where we can just have sacred knowledge. Baking soda and vinegar. Sodium bicarbonate?
Give me a second. Being into my unit. It wants me to set up a new authentication. God, what is it doing? I'm done with my course in like 3 weeks anyway.
Sarge Asthmatic right division where signs preserve shifting, shift right division where signs ignored. Make it. I have a great idea to add to your long list of video ideas. Go for it. Moving a wire through a magnetic field. That will be a part of the electromagnetism series.
Thermodynamics.
So...
Can you show me a reaction that actually shows like what the products are and everything?
Yeah, I'm just right now looking for one.
Okay.
Water and ammonium nitrate.
I'm looking at second year thermodynamics.
Website called Sciencing. That's a banger. Do you have anything? No, he just bald eagles. There we go. That looks like one. Hold on, why is that a 0?
What? Oh, is that as in it's a catalyst?
That looks hilarious though.
I've never seen a catalyst written like that.
That's an just add it to 0 waters. It makes sense because you don't get anything.
Waters.
Yeah. So there should be some energies, right? Structure image, thermodynamics, calculated using a lookup table. Oh no, I'd rather not.
I'm just looking at my entropy lectures.
Yeah, so entropy goes 100 joules per Kelvin up. Wait, is it 100?
What is this? Oh, it's got the... Okay. They've just written the entropy of everything, and then you just subtract it.
Yes, there is 100.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so that makes sense. Entropy is increasing. Entropy is increasing a lot more, and so the Gibbs free energy is negative. Yeah, so that makes sense. The Gibbs free energy is negative by like 6 kilojoules, but the entropy is positive by 100 joules per Kelvin. Wait,
Gibbs free energy is always negative for something, I think. Let me double check.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, if the Gibbs... Okay, no, the Gibbs free energy is like a kind of... It's like a mix of a few thermodynamics
I thought that Gibbs energy
tells you...
was only negative if... I thought that it was only... Like, it shows you direction in which the reaction was going. And... yeah, because you have exergonic and endergonic, like if it takes energy of it gives.
I'm trying to... Isn't that exothermic and endothermic?
No, because exothermic and endothermic is specifically for heat, but then exergonic and endergonic is more general for energy. So yeah, so right here it says that is negative because exergonic it releases energy, which makes sense. So the entropy is increasing, but it's release. Wait, is it released? That makes. Wait, no, that's dumb.
Okay, what I'm thinking here is when we call a reaction spontaneous, that's like a reaction that can just happen by itself. Like if you heat something up, it will do a spontaneous reaction where you don't need to drive it a certain way. It will just do the reaction. You just need to put the energy in for the reaction to happen. I think I'm getting that mixed up with like just check.
Chemical Aid is a great website.
I've never seen this website.
I have on 2 or 3 occasions when people ask me questions in Discord, and I just told them I am not qualified, so I just sent the website instead. I'm a typical user of internet. I know your favorite molecule was the helium dimer, but what about your favorite acid? My favorite acid is... Wait, no, acids were protons, right? Yeah, so it is helium hydride. That's my favorite acid. I am the chaotic neutral. Well, in this case, chaotic acid, but whatever. Well, now that we're wasting Flame's time, in the meantime, I'm just gonna set up the next animation. I like how, by the way, the messages between us are either like hyper-specific chemistry questions or just Balatro memes. Or just Balatro runs.
Yeah.
There's...
Yeah.
In my defense...
You know that bug thing I messaged you about like a couple days ago?
Wait, which one?
In LaTeX.
Oh yeah, I remember, yeah. The one in which...
It was driving me insane for like 2 hours, and then I finally figured it out afterwards, and I felt really stupid for it.
I mean, that's why errors happen in general. They always happen because of something idiotic and obvious once you just...
Yeah, I had this code that plots some of my data, right, in my PDF for my thesis. And every time I put one... So I have 2 graphs. There's the EKE graph, like the kinetic energy graph, and the radius graph. And both of them have the same y values. I've just changed the x-axis by scaling it with that calibration factor thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I plotted it, when I ran the code with the EKE graph, it worked fine. And when I ran the code with the radius graph, it suddenly all just completely broke, and it said stuff about like the y axis has no range. It ranges from 0 to 0 or something. And I could not for the life of me figure out what was what was going on, because it was the same 2 files just with different different x values. So why the hell would it say that the y-axis has no range? And eventually the issue was that in the code there was a limit on the range of x values, which said the maximum x value should be 1.99. And because the radius graph, the radius data, starts at 1 and then goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. It meant there was only one valid data point. So it was only doing one data point, and that one data point happened to have a y value of 0. So it was saying the y value had a range of 0 to 0 because there was only one value, which was 0.
Oh, to be fair, that is a very confusing error. That is one of the least helpful errors I have heard.
Yeah.
Because the actual issue was it being one data point. It just happened to be a 0. That's
I know, exactly. It's
so
just bad
dumb.
luck. Oh my god. It took me like 2 hours to figure it out.
I mean, I don't blame you. That's just... I always say that errors are the nicest thing. People always complain about errors, but errors are the nicest things because they actually tell you what's going on. Not this one.
No, not in LaTeX.
This
LaTeX
one is just
doesn't tell you
with you.
Yeah. LaTeX is just like, oh yeah, the range is from 0 to 0, so I can't... So I'm filling in... What did it say? So it would pop up with a warning that says the range is small, so I'm multiplying the values to make them bigger. And then it like fully crashed the PDF saying like infinite error or something. It tried to do something an infinite number of times and it broke. And so I was focusing in on the warning because it's like that's where it was originating, and eventually it just realizes it was 0. So it was probably trying to multiply it in an infinite number of times to make it bigger, and obviously it's 0, so you can't make it bigger by multiplying it.
Wait, so Lating just like has a factor, scaling factor, and then it just like kept multiplying it over and over and over again.
Let me look at it. I'll show you the error.
Because that's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it was really funny.
You know how function is related, right? Can you shift by complex units, by quadrillion units? That's actually an interesting question, Sebas. Hold on, let me think. I suppose so. I don't see why not. Would that kind of function be? Normally you plug in a number and get another. Okay, so let's imagine a simple map. I'd never thought of that, to be honest. That's actually curious. Where it goes from complex to real. Well, in that case, we'd have a plane. That will be our input, and then we'll have, as it goes up, then each point on the input would have a different height, so it'd be a surface, basically. Whatever. Yeah, I know this makes
Okay,
sense.
I'll show you all the errors. So
All right, just in a second too. So yeah, to answer your question, Sebas, when you have a function, you can imagine it like a function of complex numbers to real numbers. So a function that has a complex input but gives you a real number in return. Then that's kind of like having a surface on a plane, and that way you would just move the surface to the left, right, bottom, up, and whatever, depending on what kind of complex number you add or subtract. For complex outputs, you would need to. Let me think for an additional second. But hold on. Can I show it on stream?
yeah, sure.
All right, there we go.
And this was the actual warning thing, like at the bottom. So when there's a warning, it says it says something's wrong and it tries to do something to fix it. And the red ones are actual errors where it just doesn't.
Axis range for X and Y is approximately empty.
So it just says enlarging it, and then it says this stuff like.
That makes 100. Someone take memory views.
Yeah.
That is wildly misleading. This is just.
I only figured it out because I went in the code and I was just one by one disabling all the parameters I'd set, and eventually I figured out it was this one parameter was breaking it, and then I used my brain to understand why. And now there's a note in the code that says can break entire PDF if incorrect. It's never happening again.
Okay, this. By quadrillionic units, what about octonions? With coten, okay, so with imaginary numbers, I imagine it would work the same way, because imaginary numbers mostly add and subtract the same way as real numbers. For quaternions, it should also work in the same way-ish, because, well, I think they're also added and subtracted. Octonions, if I remember correctly, they lose associativity, and as such, I actually don't remember if higher order is kind of complex numbers. They're all rings, so I think addition on them should work fine. But don't quote me on that. You can quote me on this, however. I am amazing. Why do people say quantum spin is connected with electrons generating magnetic fields?
Spin.
Yeah, because it's spinning. Like, imagine an object with charge that's spinning. That would create a magnetic field. Basically, okay, so here's a TLDR. When you have electric charge, right, then that's just charge. You can just describe it with a number, whatever. However, when you have the magnetic field, then magnetic field, if my memory does me well, is dependent on velocity. It interacts with velocity. So when you have an electron that has a magnetic field with no velocity, that's a bit messy. However, it can have that velocity-ish if it's spinning, but it's not spinning. But it would be nice if it was spinning. And then, like, smoke 3 or 4 blunts, and then, yeah, you just...
Okay, the like intuitive explanation is if you have a moving charge, it produces a field.
Yeah, but...
Therefore, if you have a spinning charge, it also produces a field, but like as like an arrow in one direction.
Yeah, exactly. If you have...
And we see that electrons have a magnetic field like that. So it's as if they're spinning, and we say they have a type of angular momentum, but they're not actually physically spinning. It's just that that's what we thought initially.
I don't mean to be that guy.
They're not, but they still have this angular momentum.
This is honestly just inequality, because you have an electron, and you basically need to be moving in order for the magnetism to work. But a scientist just said, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense for it to be moving forwards or backwards or oscillating or whatever, because that doesn't make sense. It's not moving. But it completely makes sense for it to be spinning even though it's not spinning. Like, moving despite it not moving is problematic, but spinning even though it's not spinning is not. Unbelievable. Anyway, tune in.
This is all stuff in chemistry is like, it looks at this angular momentum stuff it's angular momentum even though nothing's actually moving. That's what's confusing.
Anyway, tune in next week for Make It discusses electron spin again. My top 10 hot takes about electron spin. Not actually spinning, so I know. Think of it as a misnomer, alright? Don't think of it as spin, which means spinning. Think of it as a completely different property. So, for example, the way I think it's the easiest to understand is gluons have a color charge, but they don't have a color. The reason why we call what gluons have a color charge is because it's convenient to think of it as colors. But that's because then you can think of a blue quark, red quark, green quark, anti-green, anti-red, anti-blue, and so on and so forth. So even though gluons don't have a color, they have a color charge. The same way, even though electrons aren't spinning, they have a spin. It's just a misnomer. Which, to be fair, with gluons is a bit confusing because gluons have 8 colors and none of them can be visualized. But that's a whole other thing. If you somehow make a hole in the F's core, would you float in it? Well, I imagine you'd die in it, but I suppose. For example, let F R to C and F Z Z squared. What would... Sebas, your question is wrong for one simple reason. You have defined a function which takes in a real number and gives you a complex output. And then you've inputted a complex number into it, which you cannot do.
Get real.
Get real, exactly. Yeah, God complex. I find it quite simple. Now this will be a second shift. I've been stuck on this for however long because I just keep getting distracted.
Still haven't answered the entropy thing.
Oh yeah, because yes. So hold on, because I found an example. That's the... Oh yeah, right. That's the NH4NO3 with no water. Ammonium nitrate and no water.
Okay. I'm still looking. But the thing is that example you gave, that has a normal Gibbs free energy. Like it's a spontaneous reaction.
Damn it. Hold on.
So it's exagonic. Most, like, all spontaneous reactions are exagonic. Endogonic reactions are the one.
Can you have a react? So can you have a reaction with positive Gibbs free energy?
You can.
Okay.
But you need some external driving force.
Okay, because
I'm trying to figure out like.
Or can you have a reaction of that, in which case that external driving force is heat, which has positive Gibbs free energy? Is that possible? Can you have an endothermic reaction of positive Gibbs free energy?
So an endothermic and endogonic reaction.
Yes.
I assume, yeah. Let me check.
Because that's basically what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a way to turn thermal energy into chemical energy, and that would basically be it. Liv actually plans to legalize recreational cannabis in July. No longer begin to crime. Good for you, Lycan. Hold on, you mean to tell me that the entire time you've been telling us about getting high, you've been doing it whilst the area you live in has... So, kids, please, stop posting about your crimes online. Just stop, okay? I've been saying it for such a long time. Mind you, I'm not telling you to even stop doing crime, just stop posting about them. I'm not encouraging you to do crimes either, because that would be a crime on my part, but just stop posting. What level of physics is in the video? I am lost. Yeah, it's tricky to say. It's like, it's so physics that it's chemistry, so.
That's the best part.
Non-water left beef nitrate. Okay, this... No... I'm actually doing crime. Oh, I see. Okay, in that case, yeah, go off, do smoke. Stop posting about crime! I'm tired of seeing it. My friends on Discord sent me crime. Realize fucking crime. I was in a bank robbery, okay? And all of it was just crime. A is the first binary number. Okay, so what we need is we need a bin A to be this, and that's going to be... That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all. There we go. Bin A will be pink. I kind of want the other one to be blue, and I kind of wanted to make it into a low-key trans flag, but we'll see where we go. Hi, the Rare Blacks. How you doing?
Oh, hi, hello.
Waking up at 12 p.m., getting up at 4 p.m. That's just life. Make the B letter green. I don't know. I feel like blue would just look nice here. I'm using pink for A because I have been in the previous chapters. And B is the second. Oh wait, I was supposed to create a fudge. This was supposed to be... So this will be our first number we multiply. Which will be this. Yes. Are there two French people in the chat? Oh, gross. I need to make a new channel. They are just shopping for clothes and I found the most fuck-ass shirt ever. Do send it in Discord, I'm curious. With that kind of description, I want to know. Where's that gift?
Oh, did you just see the GIF?
Yeah, I just saw the GIF.
I have this GIF as well.
I have a
the
new...
one you just sent.
Yeah, this is my new favorite cat.
I've got so many.
I'm done with Maxwell. Now I'm only onto Rigby.
Oh my god.
You're right. I fucking love Rigby. Wait, hold on. For anyone who doesn't know, let me show it on. Let me show the gifs on stream. It's the Rigby card. I love the Rigby card. Look at him. Look at him. Okay, well there we go, it rendered. Neat. I meant it to be 722. Now we need the second one, which will be 36, which is 32, 36, that's 30 plus 34 if I'm not mistaken, which would be, there we go, this, and this will be bin B. Thought you would look nice. Also very bad making friends, that's a tough choice. Wait, what? Do you make friends or create competition? Not for competition, but also very bad making friends. I don't make friends or make competition. I just make it.
Okay, so the question you're asking...
Yes.
There's a lot of terminology involved in thermodynamics. So we talk about spontaneous changes, and this is like a normal reaction.
Right.
In a spontaneous change, the entropy always has to increase, and delta G, so the Gibbs free energy, is always negative. Are you then asking about non-spontaneous changes, where the entropy decreases?
Well, I'm looking for... So all I wanted to know is if endothermic and endorgonic reactions can exist. So, okay, so basically, to be even more specific, to like... what I want is to turn thermal energy into chemical. So,
yeah,
just take a bunch of heat. I was wondering, it's not what I want. I'm wondering if it's possible, if that's a thing that's even possible. And that's why the whole like peak thing didn't make much sense to me, because, well, if you're using heat as your energy source, then why wouldn't it go backwards?
Okay.
Well, why wouldn't it go backwards on average? He can make it make sense. Yeah, make it make sense. I agree. The official catchphrase of make it. That will be our own hats. We'll have hats that just say at the end. That's good. Just said flame is flabbergasted. No, I'm
not
certain,
flabbergasted. I just haven't done this in ages.
I'm certain that
I don't like thermodynamics.
The part of chemistry that Flames enjoys the most is thermodynamics, because everyone loves thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is...
You'd think that with a name like Flame, I'd be in love with thermodynamics, but I find it really...
I find the name misleading. Isn't thermodynamics just statistical mechanics?
I mean,
I thought it was called thermodynamics
it's
because...
got the word thermo in it, so heat and...
I mean, no, I think... Wasn't thermodynamics just called thermodynamics because, like, they started with heat?
Yeah,
and then they realized, oh my goodness, actually, let's describe all of the complex systems with many particles. We are being taught quantum mechanics. I wish. Quantum mechanics is the opposite, the polar opposite. Because in quantum mechanics, you deal with a single thing, always. The Schrodinger's equation, if I remember correctly, the most complex system for which a Schrodinger equation was solved was just 2 protons and an electron. That's like the peak. It's the peak of amount of things. Was like developing statistical mechanics, yeah. I know the copy stuff from the book. Okay, then what we need is we need to move all of these right here. We are being taught quantum mechanics. Yes, it is a big part of chemistry. Honestly, it's kind of wild to me that quantum mechanics isn't being taught in chemistry more often, because it makes a lot of things that you normally need to memorize quite understandable, in my personal opinion. As someone who has been pissed at chemistry for such a long time until I started researching quantum mechanics. I just watched the video of Schrodinger's cat. Well, then it is no longer Schrodinger's cat if you've just seen a video of him. Man, I'm killing it, the jokes today. Meg is learning right now, not teaching. That is true. That is true. I learn most of the time. I actually surprisingly often learn and not teach my videos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them is what we need. Our positioning will be a bit tricky, but nothing can't handle. There we go. Why did the first one's scale not change? Just... the only difference being that each one needs to bit shift. And then we like a number on each one of them, actually that tells us the iteration. Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
So endogonic reactions do happen, but they need an external driving force. So you can't like mix 2 things together and just wait for them to like react and it will be endogonic. So that will never happen. When you mix things together and it's endothermic, that is still an exergonic reaction because that still has the entropy increasing in some way in your final product. But endogonic reactions that do happen, like photosynthesis or something, they have some external driving factor, which will be usually some like equilibrium thing or something, where it basically just doesn't really allow it to go back the other way.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So that would be like reaction steps, or like in biology, there are a lot of endogonic reactions where it just does so many steps that like along the way, you just can't really go back at a certain point. So that's how they usually happen. But yeah,
that's what I thought would happen, because it didn't make sense to me that you could just do it. But cheers for confirming them.
Okay, so I just had to check because it's all this terminology. It's really easy to get mixed up with what everything is, like endogonic, endothermic, exergonic, entropy, isolated system, spontaneous. You've been making a lot of coding videos.
I like
computer
coding.
science videos.
I like coding. I wanna. The thing is, the reason why is because I've been itching to actually code something. But the problem is, like, I can't code the things I consider fun without 4 videos worth of context. That's the problem. What I want to do is I want to deal with DLLs, but like explaining what the DLL is, that's will take a while. So now I need just all of this context before I can even begin. I cannot even right now. There we go. What I actually want to do is I have one practical thing. Oh, I don't know if you've seen it on the doodads on the Patreon channel.
Probably not.
I've been doing the daily doodads update.
Daily doodads.
Well, to be fair, I missed one yesterday because... But there was 2 doodad
Is
updates.
this the Patreon channel or the Giver channel?
The Giver.
Okay, the Giver channel.
Yeah, the doodad.
Oh, that is a thingamabob if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, exactly. It's
A
doodad and...
doohickey.
Yeah, it is. And so...
Whatchamacallit, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. It's operating at peak efficiency, and I want to, like, combine it with code. I have one really fun project in mind that I've been waiting for a really long time, and now I finally have the skills required to actually do it, considering that I made that do that in 3 days, which, albeit is pretty slow, but fast enough. But in order to get that, first need to make like 700 different computer science videos. Like, oh, actually, this is a 1, this is 0, this is how the CPU works. Hey, did you know that? And then all the nerds in the comments will just keep just yelling at me. Actually, the freaking... What was the most recent one? I'm so angry, I cannot even remember.
I was thinking of some of the comments on the video I did half the stuff in, and some of them were really like classic YouTube, like actually kind of comments where they actually just didn't know what they were talking about.
That happens so often as well. It kills me. But to be fair, the comments on that video were really nice.
Yeah,
that was probably
really good comments
the
on it.
best received video I've ever made, mainly because it was like the most accurate video I've ever made. But because you made like half of it, so that's the reason.
I'm still amazed that one of the guys who commented was literally one of the people I've been looking at his PhD thesis
I think that's
for.
awesome.
And it was like 12 years ago he did this thesis. Oh my god.
I really do think that's awesome. Because that's like the circle of life. Just...
Yeah.
I can't get to what I call fun without 4 videos of context is me speaking about mathematics. The thing is, I've been really sidetracked with like typical science, but the thing that I know the most about, the thing that I actually feel confident with my knowledge in, because I don't feel confident by knowledge in mathematics, physics, or chemistry. I do feel confident with computer science. This is the only thing I actually feel confident in. But I haven't mentioned it almost at all in the past however many years on the channel. Right before I started the channel, I made my own graphical engine. And then I just left it to rot in the sewer.
Still was you.
Imagine commenting on random video and the YouTuber responds with, oh my god, I read your thesis.
Well,
That's basically what happened, wasn't it?
that is literally what happened. This guy commented, he was like, oh, great video. I never expected to see a video on this topic. I did my PhD thesis on this a while back. And then I just replied like, yeah, I read the thesis. It like helped me. It's been helping me for months.
Can you imagine, by the way, isn't that wild to think about? Because I don't know, I wouldn't know. I'm not in your position, but isn't it wild from your position to think that there will be people who genuinely will be studying from your thesis? Like a significant amount of people.
I think master's theses probably not, but probably my PhD thesis.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, for masters I would say less, but for PhD definitely. Could just isn't that wild to think about that you just have genuine, I don't know, tens or
It
hundreds.
depends. Because this guy's thesis was really good because it really it did stuff from quite a fundamental perspective. So it was really good for me early on when I had like no clue what was going on because he actually explained a few things.
Your thesis will have an associated video. It'll be very popular. Actually,
It's hard sometimes though to write stuff like this because it's a lot of research now is built upon like mountains and mountains of previous research,
you know
and
what?
so for someone just kind of getting into it, it's really hard to find the base thing that explains like where something starts from.
I'm curious if you've listen. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. I'm curious if your PhD thesis had an associated video, if it would actually like increase. Will my thesis get an associated video? Of course. I already told you about this, Rob, like so many times. But yes, yeah. You know how difficult it is to get an expert to fact check my videos in this economy? This is free labor for me. Of course I want to. Honestly, the only thing I regret about that video is that I should have expected it to take a longer time than it did. Because then I wouldn't have rushed to the first half like that. I would just spend weeks on it instead. That's the only thing I regret about that video.
I mean, I think the second half was worse than the first half just because I was trying to shove so much info in.
I think...
And I realized afterwards that I skipped over some like really...
Yeah, I think if from the very beginning we
really
just
important
accepted... I think that if from the very beginning we just accepted that it would take a month, then we could make a 40-minute long video going over everything in depth, well structured, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I don't know, it's a hard thing to present. And actually, I did my presentation on the project a few weeks ago, and I didn't do as well as I thought. And the main criticism they gave was that my slides were overcrowded and there was too much info. So I actually just tried to shove too much into a 15-minute presentation, and it didn't work properly. Usually at uni, when we do these presentations, it's like they just tell you go and research this thing and make a 10-minute presentation on it. And so you go off and you read something for like a few days, and then you present it. But you have a very surface level understanding. So when you go to present it, there's not much to actually say. And this is like the opposite, where you have too much you want to say, and you have to try and cram it into a really small time frame.
Yeah, making shorter explanations is much more difficult than longer ones, simply because you need to, like, that's why I love analogies, because you always have to go either for an analogy or for context. So you can either go for context. I hate to always bring up that as an example, but I mean, this is just life for me now. You either go with all of the wave functions and electromagnetism, like modern quantum field theory explanation of electromagnetism, or you just say that it spins. These are the only two options. And having accurate analogies for things is so difficult. And every single time you just need to, instead of giving that 3-hour-long context, you just need to bash in like 4 minutes that explains it good enough, so that then you can move on to a specific thing.
I mean, I feel like the spin thing we did was all right, where we just kind of, we said to just imagine this is spinning and this is spinning,
even though it's not.
Yeah. But we did that for a lot of stuff.
I honestly, another thing I'm upset about is that if I knew from the very beginning, I'm really upset about the fact that I thought it would be a short video. I hate myself for this, because if from the very beginning I knew how long it would be, the final chapter of the overlap between different oscillators, like that deserved full 10 minutes of attention.
Yeah,
that should have. I should have made. Yeah, I should have made
2 lectures on that at uni.
I should have just made geometry notes for this that would generate these oscillators, which I could do. Yeah. It's not that difficult. I should have made geometry notes for this that would generate them automatically, and then, like, after spending a day or two on that, then we could just all plan it all together. We need to remake that video, Flame. There's no going about this. We need to remake it, scrap it, and do it again.
I mean, we can do that stuff for
Phosphorescence.
In phosphorescence.
I know.
It plays a big part in
The
it.
phosphorescence will be much better.
Yeah.
No, spoil the video, oops. Wow, I'm gonna make a phosphorescent video with Flame. That's... how unexpected. What's next? Quantum mechanics with Remco? Mathematics with Reblax? It's gonna be wild. I forgot what was... Why is the purple guy so silent? I don't know. He's shy. He's really shy.
I don't know how to join in on the conversation.
It's simple.
Just say wave function every now and then.
Yeah, just electron
sounds like
spin.
you're an expert.
That's how I join in usually. Second repeats. I've been stuck on a single paragraph of text for however long now. And what's more, I'm actively actually working on it. Me getting distracted is not the issue here.
Did I see the fluorescent rocks seen in a local museum? Oh, I might have. I remember it being mentioned. I don't know if I actually looked at the pictures. Was it in the chemistry channel? Museum. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my fluorite is like very slightly fluorescent, where it's like I shine the UV thing on all my rocks and they all look purple except the fluorite looks blue, and that's it.
Oh, by the way, I was thinking, I don't know if I told you about this exactly, but for the fluorescent things I want to make, Wikipedia fluorescence. I have them listed, but I know where I found them, so it's much easier for me to just look it up on Wikipedia fluorescence, which is right here. There are, where is it? It was sulfite, not calcium sulfide. I think copper sulfide. No, wait, not copper sulfide. One
cadmium sulfide, maybe?
Not cadmium. Oh, it might have been calcium actually sulfide. Yeah, I think it might have been calcium sulfide. But there was also another one that was easier. Wait,
photo stuff.
I keep mispressing my keys because I just have a cup of coffee in the middle of my... There we go. Yeah, so that was zinc sulfide and then calcium sulfide. They're all pretty dim, but then if I want something neat and blue, like metal F silicate or like strontium aluminate, then I would just die making it. So I feel like it's a pretty fair way to go. What actually annoys me a lot about a lot of fluorescent chemicals is that it's not that they're difficult to make, it's that you shouldn't make them because most of the time it's much better to buy them. Yeah. And not like in a classical way, like with most chemicals, only in a way that, oh, calcium sulfide, for example, I think calcium sulfide isn't actually produced all that much as it's just extracted.
Oh.
Milk of lime. You chemists and your names.
Yep, the lime milk, yeah.
The lime milk, was it zinc
lime
sulfide?
sulfur.
Application, structure, production. Oh, also sulfide seems like a very fun chemical to... Not sulfur dioxide, only sulfide. Seems like a very fun chemical to deal with.
Yes.
Whenever I see sulfur, just...
Did I tell you we were doing, in first year chemistry, so we have these like lab sessions where it's like a massive lab with a bunch of benches and a bunch of fume hoods. And it was like 100 students in first year. And we were doing this reaction that generates sulfur dioxide, which is toxic.
Mhm.
And so we were meant to do it in the fume hood. And I was getting on with the reaction, doing whatever. I turn around and there's just this guy doing the reaction on like an open bench, just just bubbling away, just spilling sulfur dioxide into the air that we're breathing. I go up to the guy. I'm like, that's making sulfur dioxide, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, that's toxic, and he goes, okay. So it has to be in the fume hood. And he's like, oh, okay. Quickly moves it over to the fume hood. Oh, first year was something else.
Hey, when has anyone ever died from, sulfur
I
dioxide
mean, yeah, realistically, it's
inhalation?
like a massive lab and it's well ventilated, so it wouldn't
It's not
actually be a
really
problem.
much of an excuse, to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anything with sulfur terrifies me.
Oh, we had another guy in second year who we were doing like a polymer experiment, and polymers are like plastics and rubbery materials, and one of these reactions like made this polymer that was quite stretchy and elastic. And so what this guy did is he decided to upscale the reaction, and he did like I don't know, maybe like 50 mils of all the reactants. Did it all together, and it actually worked. And he got out this like entire handful of polymer that he rolled up into a bouncy ball, and he was bouncing it around. He took it home in the end, even though you're not meant to take like anything out of the lab. But that was a fun one because I just looked over. He was pulling strings and strings of polymer out from the beaker.
In high school, we made I went to a high school that was also a chemistry vocational school. Long story, and we did a material that is like beautiful and red, and that's about it. And I don't know, it was some organic stuff, and one person really wanted to bring it home, so the teacher was like, okay, fine, you guys can take it home. So few of us took it home, and later, a few years later, I heard that someone from my class accidentally spilled it, and this material is known for like, it's like the teeniest amount of material will make everything completely red, and the
Okay.
school called in the next year that every clothing in the entire household is red, and the parents called into the school, yeah, like.
So it must have got in the washing machine then and just distilled in the water. Not distilled, what's it called? Like diluted in the water to spread to every
Yeah.
item of clothing. Oh, that's kind of funny.
Like I have
I
it
wonder
on
what
my
it
shelf.
was. Was it some organic dye?
Yeah, I can just go and look it up. I'll be back in a second.
Because usually dye molecules are like quite big and complex organic molecules. It could have been a ferrocene thing, but I don't think ferrocene is really much of a dye. That student was
There
Tom
was a-
Scott. Oh my god.
There was
Yeah, I've never seen him wearing
chemistry-
anything other than red or grey, I feel like.
There was another chemistry teacher that once told us he was doing some experimental project with a molecule, and at the end he was asked, "Did you deactivate your molecule?" And he didn't. Turns out molecules was lachrogenic, and it got in the vents. He had to take math
Oh my
next
God.
day, and she got extremely red eyes.
Oh my god.
Well,
Why are they using lacrimators in was this in school, or was it like he was saying it happened at a uni? Or well, actually it's a maths test, so
But to be fair, well, I mean, a math test and, you know, going outside with like extremely red eyes, I feel like that's just how math tests work.
Yeah, the teacher probably just thought, oh yeah, they're all crying like usual.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Nothing new.
we're thinking too much about how the chemicals affected the eyes and not how about the math tests affect the eyes.
Yeah.
I found the molecule we were synthesizing para-red.
Can you type that somewhere?
Sure,
Para-red.
para-red.
Oh, okay. This is not that bad. This is like a. Did you just do the one reaction with the?
The two of them, I think. I close my notebook. Yeah, it was just two reactions. Organic chemistry labs were like pretty short.
Okay. Yeah, it's a cool molecule.
I have it in a wardrobe on a shelf, like just stored away, and I'm very scared that it. Like I'm very careful with that.
Two pieces bound by nitrogen. I've never seen that in a molecule.
If there's someone you really hate, you can just kind of chuck it in with their laundry. They'll just be wondering what the hell happened.
That's a very sliver, honestly, on the spectrum of love to hate. It's a very narrow piece where like you hate someone enough to chuck it into their laundry, but not enough to do anything more extreme that the
Yeah,
chemist
it's like
could
a
do.
subtle like screwing with them.
Another fun molecule I have is the amyl acetate. It's almost banana scent, but they didn't have the isoamyl alcohol, so we used just simple amyl alcohol, and it still smells similar to banana. But like, it's and we could also take that one home, and it's in a closed bottle, inside the wardrobe. And when I open the doors, it's just banana smell the entire place, and like it's so strong. And like I've also heard horror stories about that when someone spilled it in their backpack and they just smelled like
my God.
rotten banana from
You
a
just
mile
throw away
away.
the backpack at that point.
Yeah. But like still the books and everything.
I'm just watching Make It move around a bunch of numbers.
Oh, you're watching this? Honestly, I'm barely watching this.
You know, I kind of want to learn some Python over the summer because I've been enjoying like the MATLAB and the LaTeX coding.
The thing is, after I'm done with this video and the next one, that will be such a fun overkill of all computer science knowledge anyone would ever need. In this video, I don't know if you know what this video will be about, because I think it's pretty fun. Because here's the thing, my goal is to explain to people how computers work. So not just teach a bunch of different programming languages, that's boring. I want to teach C, and then like give enough knowledge for anyone to figure out how everything else works by themselves.
Okay.
And what I will finish this video off with, which I think is pretty fun. Shit. Just give me a second. It's fine. Let me just parent this. Oh, fuck. Shit. Fuck. I mean, alright, I'll deal with this in a second. What I want to do here is, I'll deal with me just completely messing up my animation in a second. I want to finish the video off with this, which is a simple CPU I made. And I think this is such a great explanation of how CPUs work, because basically into this, my computer just started going like crazy. It got really loud. How difficult is this to simulate?
Computer's jealous of your other computer.
It really is, yeah. But like this is a CPU made using just the simple parts. So I'm starting with an AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, and from these I'll end up here. Nothing else required. And what's really neat about this one is that in here you can plug in the code, which is an 11-digit binary number. And the reason why I like it so much is because right here, everyone will understand exactly how code works. And when I say that, I mean like exactly how CPUs actually put it in place, which is such an in-depth explanation. I'm pulling the most make it of all moves, which is instead of just explaining how to program in C, I'm giving 4 episodes worth of context just so that you know exactly which fucking gates and switches your CPU is actually turning on and off. But the reason why I think it's neat is because, if you want to learn Python, this is such an overkill knowledge for Python, but I think this series will just be neat. What have you sent?
Read this after your current train of thought. This is like
can I read it on stream?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I don't know if I should put the text on stream somehow, but there is a fair bit of it is censored, I imagine, for the punchline. So
it's not a punchline. It's an actual story.
I mean, I don't know what's more. I'm an ENT. One time, a guy fell into a vat of mixed sodium and potassium hydroxide at an electroplating place. They got him out pretty quick and were spraying him with water when he got there. The safety officer has a fucking stainless steel hook for a hand. The poor guy only spoke Spanish, so I got translated from a medic hospital. The rider for the day drove us at the Mac back to the hospital. I could send him back to a nasal cannula that was pouring in my eyes.
In his eyes.
I don't want to read the rest. That's very descriptive. He lived though. That's, you know what? The last sentence.
Is a very impressive
he lived though. That is, for everyone watching, there is an additional paragraph of text there describing in shocking detail. That's very descriptive. He lived.
This isn't that chemistry. I mean, you can see because I forwarded it. It's in that same. It's actually the best chemistry server on Discord right now.
Explosions and fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm there. I am there. In fact.
The summary of the description is that his eyes dissolved. Like actually just dissolved. And he was blind.
Sodium potassium hydroxide.
Yeah, that's...
That's terrifying. Okay, I know that we all like to josh around about OSHA and whatnot, but I mean, it's there for a reason, you know? Everybody gangstans always saying stuff like, oh, I don't actually need to hold the ladder with 3 points at all times, until they fall into a vat of sodium potassium hydroxide.
Oh no, I mean, relax. This isn't a chemist job. This is like a chemical engineer job or a random like guy working in a chemical factory job.
I mean, it's pretty based, if anything.
Because actual like research doesn't require more than a few mils of whatever you're working with, so it's never going to be that bad unless it's like something insanely toxic. But even then, in the lab, there's abundant safety stuff in place. I think factories are where it gets bad because they're trying to optimize it for money, and they have massive amounts of whatever it is they're working with.
I fixed my mistakes. Well, one of them. There we go. Did you say it as a pun, make it? I would never just make fun of someone's eyes dissolve. That's honestly a pretty dick move. I'm sorry. If I had a nickel for every single time I made fun of someone's eyes dissolving, then my lawyers have advised me not to finish that sentence. What happened to the mad scientist doing wacky, dangerous experiments on purpose? No, for now that's exclusively reserved to people just extracting glowing blue powders out of random chemical equipment. Not science equipment. Make it would never turn a blind eye to that. Thank you, Theo. Thank you for not leaving me hanging there. Regulations are written in blood. Yeah. But then OSHA came along and told us that regulations actually have to be written in ink. That's a big mistake. Fuck! Why didn't you all tell me that wasn't rendering the things that I just added? There we go.
It's not rendering the things that you just added.
Ah, thanks, Flame. You're always here for me to point out when my animations are rendering the things that I just added. Oh yeah, they died, of course. Smashed my head. Honestly, I think the most dangerous job in the world is being a statistical physicist. Because like in every other job, there are things that could kill you. But if you're doing like thermodynamics and statistical physics in general, if you survive that and don't kill yourself by the end, I'm impressed.
True.
And here's where the copy pasta about the beginning of a textbook on thermodynamics.
I need to get that one image from the book. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
The beginning of the thermodynamics book?
This one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was referring to as well. Yeah, there we go. That's exactly the one.
Put it on the stream.
Yeah. It's the... Ludwig Boltzmann, who spent much of his life studying statistical mechanics, died in 1906 by his own hand. Paul Enfest, carrying on the work, died similarly in 1933. Now it is our turn to study statistical mechanics. The most dangerous job in the world, honestly. Wait, hold on. Thermodynamics and statistical mechanics. Why is there a quantum mechanical solution for the energy levels of a particle in a box?
It's probably laying a foundation for moving up to statistical descriptions.
I mean, yeah, but quantum mechanical solution for the energy levels of a particle in a box. That's what energy levels of... Oh, no, never mind. It's yeah, okay, no, checks out.
Because the energy levels have a
for
distribution on the energy levels.
Yeah, for a second I didn't know how it connects. No, makes sense. My favorite molecule group is Kali. I cannot pronounce that. That has too many vowels arranged in too weird of ways. Actually, doesn't have a lot many vowels, just two. But hold on. That is funky looking, certainly.
What is what?
Oh, my dark mode is really screwing it up.
Antibiotics. But... Okay, that says enough if it's an antibiotic. Okay, that's a lot clearer. It's not any better, but it's clearer. Antibiotics are always really complicated molecules because
they're antibiotics.
The bacteria keep developing resistance.
Yeah, exactly.
So they just have to make it more and more complicated.
Biochemical molecule complex must be a first.
It's actually interesting that it's like a whole arms race where they develop some new antibiotic and then the bacteria develop resistance to it, so you have to develop a new one, and it just keeps repeating.
That's why phages are a nice thing. Is that what they're called? I don't remember.
You just eat them.
Yeah, because I mean, then there's both sides of the arms race. You just don't deal with it. You let the viruses deal with the bacteria, and the bacteria deal with viruses. And then you get the fungi to deal with them both, and we just chill. Hey, Mickey, can you give me a basis of C? We are starting in tomorrow. Do you have a scat? A Monster Energy drink also helps. Biochemical molecule complex. I find it quite simple. Never mind. But right. Can you though imagine on actually working to create an antibiotic? Like spending months or year of your life just developing it only for bacteria to just develop immunity to it. Whoops. Doesn't work
Just
anymore.
outskilled by microorganisms.
Like a scoreboard of bacteria versus like one specific guy. Is C less human readable than Python? Depends how you read code. C is more human readable if you know how to read it. In C, you can know what the program does better. In Python, it's easier to read the function of the program. Trust me, it makes sense. Just don't question me. Make it. I know a pharmacist. So do I. They're not that rare of a creature. Nothing is more terrifying than a benzene ring with two radicals. That sounds fun. If C is human readable in Python, no, once you read code, you relinquish your humanity. From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. I craved the strength and sanity of the blessed machine.
I've been including code snippets of my MATLAB code in my thesis, and I keep looking at it like, does anyone actually understand what is going on in these snippets?
It doesn't matter. No.
Words.
It's the equivalent of like. Actually, you can do both. You can chuck in both like way over the top quantum mechanical equations and snippets of the code. Like, you know, in case someone actually understands your quantum mechanics equations bullshittery, then you just throw in the code to throw them off.
Like, the code is straightforward. Like, there's no quantum stuff in this.
Oh yeah, I know, but no, you do them both in separate, because like once there are chemists who understand coding for simulation sake or whatever, and there are chemists who understand quantum mechanics for the obvious orbital reasons. It's even rarer to find those who overlap in both. So, you know, then you throw in this so that all of them think of you as just crew. That's what I'm doing. That's my entire channel. Like, none of what I'm doing in any field is impressive, but it's impressive to people who don't know that field.
Yeah.
That's a pretty simple code, you know, I take it back.
Yeah, I know. That's like...
Wait, what is that arrow there?
That's for when the line continues onto a new line.
Oh, okay.
It just does that. Later just does that because it's cool.
What you could do, I don't mean to backseat game actually on you writing, you know. I'm sorry. I always hate when people backseat game on when I do stuff, and I take it back. Never mind. Uh-oh, this was supposed to be... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's not what it's supposed to be at all. Oh, what is your brightness? 3. Doesn't look right. What have I done?
once we understand 3 plus 5 equals 8, and use this to extrapolate, flatten space-time, further summons demon. This is what it felt like in the video. This is what it felt like I was saying in the video. I was like, yeah, so once we establish this, you can go on to this, and it's
The one
it's
segment,
like 6 months worth of learning
Yeah.
to get that.
the one segment in which you have spheres, like, oh yeah, so this is basically the p orbital, and it can either go into a sphere or it can go into a sphere kind of at the tops and bottom. Why?
Yeah.
It is so. That was a bit rushed.
I did find recently a source that said the photoelectron wave functions always have an ML value of 0, which does make more sense because it means we don't have to worry about the like the other orbital directions. But it still doesn't answer the thing about the d orbitals being like on the sides. But I've kind of just resigned that to just not worrying about.
I'm not blind, am I? This is a different color.
What is?
The top one and the bottom one.
I think the bottom one just has more background lighting around it.
But it shouldn't. It really should not. They're on the same ground. What have I done?
I think it's just the glow underneath. Like it's the background.
I
glow. It's not the actual
hope
color
so.
of the text. It's just the glow.
The problem is that really shouldn't be a thing because well, they're on the
Swap
same.
their positions and it might look the same.
No, I'm just gonna change all of it and then just pray. I'm gonna do it the proper way. Looks like this is more saturated, which shouldn't be. For all I know, I've done everything correctly, so there will be no reason for it to not work. Yeah, okay, they have the same color. Good, I didn't mess up. I told you the trans flag would look good. I knew it. The trans color scheme.
It's a lot of purple for a trans flag.
The fucking trans flag expert's gonna come in and tell me how to draw my trans flags, honestly. Yeah, right. Just comes in have fucking purple. Like.
But I mean, Flame's right. It's like. It's,
Fucking, I'm gonna delete it all. Just there. Just leave it.
Actually.
Don't. Honestly, just leave it blended. Unbelievable. Society is telling me I can't have purple with my trans flag. Unbelievable.
also, that's you have teal there, not like baby blue. So.
And that's why, yeah, that's why homophobia exists. Because honestly, all those homophobes just want to express themselves with colors, but they've just been told their entire life that they're drawing the gay flags incorrectly, and that's their actual villain arc. I genuinely believe that all of these like 60-year-old men who just scream at gay people for no reason have just like a soul of a 5-year-old child who just wants to draw with colors. That's the actual reason. Trans scheme. How about trans stacks? Piss off. Do you prove every statement you learn in uni? For the first 3 years, even 4. Proof by fucking look at it is a pretty good proof. Although my favorite one is proof by too long didn't read. I'm gonna reorganize this somehow in order to like remove the purple from it. I don't know how yet, just to prove both of you all wrong.
Or just turn the tail into a blue, and then you have a bi flag instead, and chuck the trans flag to another place.
On this, and then I wanted to transition. I'm even transitioning colors. What do you want from me? Hold on, am I going crazy though? I mean, yes, but it's unrelated. What do you mean the teal? Isn't that the same color?
The steel.
Aren't those two the same color?
And one is lighter, but they're about the same hue.
Yeah, because the first one is just bright. That's the thing.
But it's supposed to be blue.
Yeah, it is. It is in fact blue. Have you seen the D-Log? They're transitioning the metals! We'll get to research it quickly, you know, it's impossible to read every paper ever. It becomes physically impossible. I thought that was the job of you mathematicians. I thought that's why you don't do physics, because you don't care that it's physically impossible to read every paper ever.
I wanted to make that joke too, but you were faster.
Wow, this lashing has been going on for 2 hours and I have almost gotten through a single paragraph of text. What am I, reading a math paper? Am I right? Anyone? No? Okay. No. Will you make it from a moment next week? Okay. Blue is a scam of big photon selling more wavelengths at shorter distances. Oh, I need to make the gates again. Oh, shucks and dagnabbit. I'll make it obviously not. I spent most of my week on half a page. Alright, so what we'll need is we'll need the 8-bit alternatives to all of the logic gates, along with the logic gate that picks a certain bit to be... Okay. Yeah. Why were the streams at 5 o'clock? Because you live somewhere where it is 5. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. The answer of because you live somewhere is certainly an answer.
I'm gonna go because I need to work on my thesis.
That's understandable.
It's actually meant to be due on Wednesday, but I might extend it by a week.
I distracted you well enough.
No, it's been fun.
Good luck with your thesis.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye, Flame.
Alright, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I want to walk on the doodad right now. I have an itch to walk on the doodad. We might end the stream soon. It's so sweet that in a single stream I have gotten through a single paragraph. But to be fair, that was the most annoying one. Because that one was the one with all the ones and zeros. And for that I couldn't really do any geometry notes. Because the geometry notes it was just a single chapter. And making, not even a single chapter, a single paragraph. Making geometry notes for a single paragraph is something that I would do if I had more time to waste. That's something I have done in the past, but not this time. And repeat numbers of 0, and then we just sum them together. Yeah, so all we need to do is just take these and then just pull these two off to the side and then turn on the sum with some kind of color. I know it's gonna be maybe yellow. Appease the do-daddy. Don't call... It's do-father to you, alright? I almost can't pathfind through a 2-block high opening if the top and bottom blocks are slabs. Is that really true? Oh, you mean like... Okay, no, that checks out. Yeah, if you offset it. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, for a second I thought you meant like... for a second I thought you meant like... 2. Imagine these are squares. Actually, no, I'm gonna divide them 2. There, now they're more squarish. For a second I thought you meant like this, like they can't pathfind through this. But if they can't pathfind through this, then that makes sense. Because this is like technically 2 blocks, but they would think that this block is occupied and this block... No, that would check out. Unless you mean the one on the left. In which case this block is occupied and this. In which case I don't understand that. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Go eat something. I will try to finish. I know no promises. I'll try to finish the video today. I don't want to promise because I already miscalculated once. But I am mostly gonna work on the doodad. Anyway, everyone. See you later. Patreon. I'm gonna join back on the Patreon. I don't have to see, but I'm gonna join back on the Patreon channel in like an hour probably.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, and for now, that'll be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.